Welcome to ProKitchen Tutorials. In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at the Design Tools buttons that are located in our Plan View toolbar, located in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. We'll take a look at each one of these buttons and see exactly what they do and how we can use them to make our designs quicker, faster, and simpler. So let's get started. I have a design open here that I've been working on. So the first one we want to take a look at is our grid. And here we can turn our grid on or off depending on what your design preference is. Now let's take a look at our Show Wall Zones button. And on this button you can turn our zone on and off. And our zone is that little dotted line that's out in front of the wall. And once you turn this off, it not only turns off the zone line, it turns off the zone completely. So with our zone on, when you place a cabinet, it drags out there and it snaps right to the wall. Well, if we turn our zone off, when we grab a cabinet and drop out here, there's no stickiness to the wall. So it's going to place in its standard north-south orientation next to the wall. Now our next button is Display Distances on Mouse Navigation. Now we also had this in right click. It was up here. You could turn it on. We just simply moved it out of here down to here to make it easier to access. Now, display distances on mouse navigation. You're familiar with this one. When you move your mouse into the zone, it gives you the distance to the next object. We can turn that off. Now when we move our mouse in the zone, there's no distance showing. Now we've added two new buttons. We've added Snap and Grid Snap. And these are totally new features for ProKitchen. So to take a look at Snap, I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to grab a cabinet and I'm going to drop it down here. And as I roll this cabinet up next to the cabinet next to it, you notice as it gets close, a little box appears in the upper, in this case, right-hand corner of the cabinet and snaps it right over next to the other cabinet. So that's the new snap feature that we have. We can turn that on and off. With it off, you can just drag it over like normal. There's no pull-in feature. And we've got some interesting other uses. Now we have a menu tied into this button, so if I adjust my screen up here, my recording screen, we come over here and we right click on this, you'll see we've got endpoint, midpoint, and nearest. And then right click and turn those on just by clicking on them. So endpoint, that's what we have up here. It's that point in the back. Turn that endpoint off and select midpoint. Now the midpoint button, if we want to pull this guy in and out, you see the midpoint comes on, so that's in the middle. Works also when you come in from the side. This works great if you're doing some layouts out here and you want to tie them in. Got our midpoint snap so you can line things up. We'll come back and we'll turn on our endpoint snap. Now we've got two of them on. We want to move it. So now you've got the back snap. We've got our midpoint and our endpoint snapping together and our front point snapping together. So this gives you a lot of flexibility now when you're working on outside of a zone. Now let's turn off our snap feature and turn on our G snap or our grid snap. And what this does is it's just like snap, only it snaps to the grid. So you can make it really easy to line up a cabinet with the grid if you're doing an island or something out here that you don't want to build a construction zone around. Now if we grab another cabinet and pull out there next to it, it's going to snap again right to the grid. Or we can turn on our cabinet snap and go to move and snap it to the grid and all the way around. So lots of options now to line up your cabinets and snap them together. And then finally we've added COL button, which is collision detection. So you turn this off and you can grab a cabinet and pull it right through another cabinet, right through a wall, whatever. This is the same thing, same feature we had holding down the control button while you were moving your cabinet around. So this way we've just added it. You don't have to use your hand now on your keyboard. You can design one-handed. And you can turn it on and off from here. So probably want to leave that. So you see I don't have my snaps on, so it doesn't line up. Probably want to leave that off most of the time, so it makes putting cabinets together much easier. But then it's there to turn on if and when you need it. So this has been our ProKitchen tutorial on our new design tools buttons in our Plan View toolbar. Thank you for watching.